Can a man really shoot someone in cold blood on the streets of New York City and get away with it? Well, we're talking about alleged CEO shooter Luigi Mangione. His attorneys are trying to do just that. They claim his rights were violated by police the day he was arrested in that McDonald's in Pennsylvania. They want all the evidence they collected from his backpack thrown out, the gun, the ammunition, his notebook, on the grounds that the police didn't obtain a search warrant. Well, now you have new body cam video of that arrest. It's just been released. We're going to show it to you in a minute, but first, it's important to understand the timeline here, okay? So on December 9th, 2024, at 9:14 a.m., the manager at McDonald's called 911 saying that customers thought a man eating there looked like the CEO shooter. 9:29 a.m., Altoona police arrived at the McDonald's. 9:41 a.m., Mangione's fake license was shown to the police. 9:58 a.m., he's arrested on forgery related to a fake ID. And as soon as he was arrested, a cop started searching his backpack and continued searching it once they got to the station. Now that you've seen the timeline, we've got to take a look at the body cam footage of when police first confronted Mangione. Take a look.
Yes, sir. How you doing? Can you put your mask down real quick for me? Yeah, sure. Appreciate it. Thank you. Okay. What's your name? Mark. What is it? Mark. Mark? Yes, sir. Mark what? Rosario. Rosario? Someone called. They thought you were suspicious. Oh, I'm sorry. Do you have your ID on you? Yes, sir. Thanks. Thought she looked like someone. You don't need to. You want to run the camera? Where are you from? Player 6, 2729 out of New Jersey.
Does that video help or hurt the defense? I want to bring in New York City's top cop during the hunt for Mangione, retired NYPD Chief of Department John Chell, and criminal defense attorney Mark Geragos. Thank you so much for coming on. John, I'll start with you. A, where does that video fit into the piece of the puzzle? And B, did police do anything wrong whereby his statements to the police or any of his belongings will not be allowed into evidence?
All right. As far as his statements go, by the officer's own admission, he said as soon as he took his mask down, he knew it was him. I think he had a probable cause right there to make that arrest. Not to mention the fact that the partner's running the ID, and it's also a fake with probable cause to arrest. Anything questioning beyond that has to stop. You cannot ask any more questions. Custody questioning equals Miranda. Now, as far as the bag goes, they made a tactical error here. At this point, when they first walk in, that reasonable suspicion, they could pat that bag down. But since they have probable cause and he had immediate control over that bag, they should have did that bag right there for no other reason than safety. And the officer says, I knew that gun was recovered. But now you have search incidental lawful arrest. And you also have an inventory back at the precinct. So I think Judge Carroll somewhere along the line is going to throw out some statements. Well, he'll go with an inevitable discovery here that the gun would have been discovered during a normal course anyway.
Let's talk about that. So, Mark, right, the counter-argument to that would be, well, listen, he wasn't in a custodial interrogation. He was free to leave. He's eating his chicken nuggets, gives a fake ID, tells him a fake name. Okay, now you're talking about a crime being committed. And plus, you couple that with the idea of what his clothing is, he's suspicious. And then the bag, right, would be searched incidental to arrest. They might have thought that there was a threat. They're under the law. They can do an inventory search of a suspect. And like John just said, there is this concept in the law, inevitable discovery doctrine. They would have been able to get that evidence anyway. A judge might forgive it in a way. Your response?
That the interesting thing about this case is you've got parallel prosecutions, both federal and state. And the law on the searches differ federally in New York State. I'm not so sure that the inevitable discovery at that point, based on this body cam and based on the other numerous witnesses that they've shown, is going to carry the day. I do agree on the statements and where I think prognosticating where the judge is going to come out. I'm not so sure on the search. And by the way, in cases like this, I wouldn't bet on a search being suppressed under almost any circumstances in this high profile of a case. But for the very reason I said, knowing you've got a backstop of the feds and a different standard for the inevitable discovery, I think this judge, he may, and it's slim, I wouldn't bet on it, but he may say that the search was illegal.
So I guess the question is, John, why didn't they get a search warrant? There was the discussion, right, about do we need one, do we not need one? Why didn't they get a search warrant, and why didn't they read him his Miranda rights immediately?
Well, the Miranda rights, I think their intent, even though intent has nothing to do with it, I think they were just trying to make small talk, because he was working with a rookie. I think he was waiting for the troops to arrive. But that doesn't mitigate Miranda. He had probable cause, no more questions, talk about the weather, talk about the burger he's eating, leave it at there. Again, as far as the gun goes, I'm a firm believer that the search was contemporaneously in the parking lot. I'm not putting, in my experience, I'm not putting a bag in the car without taking a quick peek to see what's in it for my own safety, and then inventory back at the precinct. But I will tell you this: I've handled many murder cases as a chief of detectives in Brooklyn, and I wish there was a detective that could kind of take custody of that and say, let's be safe and let's get the search warrant. You would have the same result.
Mark, real quick, 20 seconds. If this all gets tossed, let's say everything gets tossed, can they still prosecute him successfully?
On the state side, it's an uphill battle. But remember, you've got the feds standing right behind you, and they've been doing a tug of war to see who goes anyway. Nothing would make the feds happier than for them to step in. And I agree, the detective is absolutely right. You know, given the circumstances, when you look at the videos, the better part of valor here would have been to just wait. There was no reason not to.
And to be clear, whatever decision is made in the state level doesn't necessarily mean it's going to translate over to the federal level, but you have to imagine it'll have some sort of effect.
And Jesse, don't forget, Jesse, they followed him from the scene to the Starbucks.
No, I hear you.
DNA off that water. So there's other things.
We could always talk about everything else. All right, Mark Geragos, John Chell, appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.